Unofficial Therapy. Welcome back. This is your girl Wahida. I'm here with Mahfuza and some of the boys from Money and Violence. So we're gonna chat a lot about many things, um,
Yeah.
as it relates to the show, as it relates to PTSD in our community, and a lot of other things. But let's get started. I want you boys to introduce yourself, and then we'll take it from there.
I'm him legendary, also known as Yardi, Money and Violence.
Big Grand. Call me Grand on the show. I'm the big Grand, not the little one.
Yeah, and I'm Fritz, aka Bucks from the show, the Golden OG.
Uh,
And you know me, Mahfuza, from
So
Unofficial Therapy.
so today we're talking about we're starting off with 7 toxic habits, boys. So men, the men in front of me. Um, you know, a lot of the times we women hear you calling us toxic, right? And so we want to know, um, we want you to explore some of your possible toxic habits.
jump
But
right in it.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna label them and then you tell me which one like jumps out at you. So 7 common toxic habits. First one is
Fingers up. And you put it down if it applies to you.
all right, all right,
Oh,
all right.
shit.
Shut
Shut up.
The opposite one.
All right. So first one is stop comparing yourself to others. That's a toxic habit. Stop letting your past impact your present or future. Damn, I do
Shit.
that.
Can
all
I
the
put
time.
2 fingers
My hand
down?
about to go down.
Damn. Stop not taking your own advice. So you give your friends advice and then you don't take it.
Oh,
Yep.
shit. Sometimes.
Stop expecting the worst. You automatically think things are going to just go downhill no matter how good it might be. Stop taking chances. You stop not sharpening your saw, meaning you don't grow, you don't push yourself, you don't, you know, set higher aspirations for yourself. Another toxic habit, you're hard on yourself. Very, very hard on yourself.
I ain't gonna have no more fingers left.
Damn.
We use other hand too.
Another toxic habit to quit. Stop being hard on others. I added that one,
I love it.
right? Because take a sip, take a sip. We're going to pause. Interestingly enough, I added the last one because we should give others grace. I find myself a lot of the times having very high expectations of those around me and
Very
not
true.
giving people grace. And I think it's really, 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 really important to stop being hard on those that you love and you care about and give them grace.
That's very true.
Yeah, you right.
I got one more.
Absolutely.
I'm inspired by you.
Mm-hmm.
Is not pouring into yourself the way you pour into those that you love. I think that's a unhealthy habit.
No, you right.
It's kind of difficult, you know. I mean, if I could say for me and Grand, I'm a parent,
Mm.
so you're gonna have certain expectations for your child, and it's the sad thing about it for me, in my opinion, is that with the changing of the times, these kids they have so much leeway to having a crutch and a explanation or an excuse to why they lean on this or why they do this or why they do that. So they're always looking for a crutch,
Okay.
as opposed to I know times have to evolve, but we wasn't soft. I feel like these kids nowadays they're soft. Their skin is not thick. Like even for example, them talking about bullying, you know,
Mm.
and I'm not saying that bullying don't exist, but we had to have tough skin too. You know, or
Yeah.
we used to rank on
Yeah.
each other like
Yeah.
you don't know what kind of
Yeah.
effects that would have led to certain people
Yeah.
that didn't have
Yeah.
the strength to be like, all right, I'm gonna rank back. They
Yeah.
got me today.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come back on them tomorrow.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a totally different time. So
now you gotta be careful because
absolutely.
they doing suicide and you know
Yeah, it's just a lot.
It's deep now, you know.
Let's talk a little bit about toxic habits you notice in you.
Mhm.
So out of these that I listed, stop comparing yourself to others, stop letting your past impact your future or your present. Any of those stick out for you?
Well, I say this. a lot of those things that you named, I used to do.
Okay.
Now that I'm like wiser, I went through a lot. Like now, like I'm aware of it. Especially in social media. Like these days, I think every post is about acknowledgement of something toxic now. Oh, I lost all my friends, and I prayed for my enemy. Now I lost all my friends, and people's aware now. Everybody's woke now. Oh, I only got 2 friends, and all this, so. Or now I'm more brighter. Now I'm not stupid. This is what you see people posting. Everybody's being woke now. So, I mean, without social media, I would say that when I was younger, oh man, I was a very toxic guy. But
You
now,
was toxic, so let's talk
yo,
about
toxic guy. But
you
now,
was toxic, so let's talk
yo,
about that, right?
I was very toxic. Right?
So
very.
yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Give me 2 things that you feel like now you don't do, but you were doing.
I used to
And
do
what's-
all that shit you named.
Damn. Damn. You wasn't taking none of your advice.
Nope. I preached to motherfuckers. Yeah, you should do this and do.
And you
I
wasn't
think we
listening
all
to
have.
And
none
I
of
did
it.
the
We
same
all
shit
have
that
that
I'm telling
thing.
them not to do. Yeah, I
Absolutely.
did it. Yeah.
Crazy.
As if
You
as,
shouldn't do drugs.
While
Yeah.
you smoking, while you puffing, like, oh yeah.
Don't
You
try
should
this
talk
at
it
home.
out. Get the fuck over here. It's just bad, But now, like he said, you get children, stuff like that. You
it's
grow,
a
you get
totally
mature.
different frame of mind.
Got some eyes looking at you now, set of eyes looking at you. So you have to be an example for them. Like,
Yeah, I think we all had our high head moments.
yeah.
But only time you grow is in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time will
Some
tell.
people choose to learn from old habits and old situations. At some point, when do you become a man? Can't live that second childhood now.
Some people stuck.
Yeah, stuck in back in time, like they in a force field. They can't break out. Yeah, you got to evolve.
And what are some influences when it comes to your evolution? What are some influences? Like you mentioned that there's the social media. When you see all the positive affirmations all the time, it's almost like you look at yourself. But around you, what do you feel is some evolution, or is it more so self-started?
I mean, I think that it's more if you're not going through it, somebody around you is going through it.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it's more of people getting tired of the same thing. You know what I mean? They want something different. And it's
Elaborate on
stressful
the same
enough.
thing.
Yeah, we've been through enough so where we should all learn our lesson in order to teach the next generation. You know what I'm saying? And they should know it too because they have a lot of examples in front of them.
Yeah.
Due to the social media. You know what I mean?
Well, me per se, I would say my upbringing, like one of the main strengths is my mother. My mother she's my father died when I was 3, so my father got killed by another woman he had on the side.
Damn, it sounds like something I would do.
Oh shit.
Well, that went left.
Yeah, that went. Oh God, please don't do that. But damn, that's just one thing because I could
Sorry
go
to
forever.
hear that,
but
by the way.
like,
Of course, yeah. That must have been like really hard, yeah.
So that for me, that helped me with like my relationship. So now that I'm older, like when I was younger, I didn't really respect women for that reason, right?
Wait, you didn't respect women because
my mother, right, used to always be like, oh, that bitch, stuff like that.
Okay,
She
so
killed
speaking-
him, and right. So now
speaking
when I
poorly
got
of another
older,
woman.
because I'm like, yeah, a woman killed my father, like,
Yeah.
fuck women and stuff like that,
Yeah.
right? So now my mother one day when I got older, she seen me going down the wrong path, stuff like that. She's like, yo, I gotta apologize to you because, like you say now, she's like, I was toxic. Like I bred that in you for you to hate women because you keep hearing me saying like, oh, she took your father out, your father. She said, but what you gotta remember is your father did that also. It takes 2 to tango. So when your father was cheating on me, he really was cheating on us. You know what I'm saying?
And on himself.
Himself too,
Right, yeah.
So he would have been here. Not to say it's really his fault, but he gambled, he rolled the dice and he crapped out. So it's like he's messing with a crazy broad, you know what I'm saying? And and she went to jail for it and everything. So everybody lost in that situation.
Exactly,
She
and
did
that's the sad
25.
part.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Mm.
So, you know, I remember that day like it was yesterday, and I kind of like woke up, and I was like, damn, you're right. Like I shouldn't have this hatred for women because I want nobody disrespecting my mother or my sister. So now that I'm, older, I'm married. You know what I'm saying? So I have 2 children.
Congratulations.
I have a son and a daughter. So it's like now that helped me in my relationship. Not saying when I was young did I run around? Hell yeah, I was wilding. You know what I'm saying? But that's as you're a young man. Now that I'm a grown man, I'm like
Different frame of mind.
I'm faithful because now it's like if I cheat on my wife, I'm cheating on my wife and my children.
Correct.
Just how my father did with me, and he's
The
not here anymore.
responsibility.
So that affected me to where I'm humble now. That toxic shit and all that shit.
So now,
love from it.
interestingly enough, I want you guys to talk about this statement. So I'm on social media the other day, and a comedian says, and I don't know if we should name him or not, Little Duval. He says,
Oh.
outside of cheating, a woman can't ever say I did them wrong.
Well, I get what he's saying because women think that all men cheat, right? Am I right?
Yes.
All
No,
right.
I don't think all men
Okay.
cheat.
All right, because that's
divided.
Exactly the divided. So my thing is, you could go like this. They say men back in the days they had more than one wife, right? So in our DNA, we used to more than one woman, right? We're supposed to have more than one woman, but since America, they're like, no, you got one wife. So
it was both ways, though.
right?
Yo,
You
So
did
we-
have a
I
female
can't.
tribe
So we
in
be
Africa
fucking
that was
in
the same
religion
way.
too, Muslim stuff like that, right? They give you a
Absolutely,
choice.
absolutely.
They say if the woman agrees to it,
Mhm.
then
And
you
you
can
can
have
provide
more,
for them.
right?
You have to
Actually,
be able to provide for
thank
them.
you. There's rules to that.
Yeah,
It
There's
absolutely.
rules.
Absolutely.
And the type of women that you marry as your second, third,
You're right.
and fourth
Mhm.
cannot be your top choice that you desire.
And-
There's
and-
rules to it.
absolutely.
And the first wife got to agree to it. She got to agree to
She
everything.
she
you do.
got to agree to it, and she got to be fully satisfied.
That's
You
a fact.
cannot compromise what you're giving her. And the next woman that you marry sometimes should be because your wife can't have a child and she's going to bear children,
It's
but
a
you're going to
heavy
treat
load.
them equally. The third one might be a widow who does not have a husband to lead in her family. But you're not about to get
One-
4 virgins with
one
fat
is-
asses.
one is enough.
And
one is enough to try to
yeah.
Mhm.
be on that same plane with.
Mhm.
It's to have 2, 3, 4. That's childhood stuff.
Yeah.
Coming up as a young man, I know growing up in my neighborhood, there used to be like there was young girls in the neighborhood around my age growing up, and they're like, "Yo, you're not messing with her. You're not doing this with her. You're not doing that with her." So it's like these grown men is putting me on the spot. So off gate, they teaching you like, "Yo, you supposed to. This is how you have your bravado. You got to be messing with all these girls."
Absolutely.
But think about it. These dudes was old as hell. And we was young as hell. I remember in high school, I couldn't keep up with some of these dudes. They was coming to pick them up in Benzes and all these big whips. I'm dressing fly. I'm looking good. I got money in my pocket, but I ain't riding like these dudes.
The girl in my grade told me, "What can you teach me? Can't teach me nothing." She said, "Can I go to your house and take a shower with you?" "No, you live with your mommy." I said, "What the hell?"
Yo.
So my thing is, like you said, is everything good except for the cheating, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
My
He
thing
was
is
a good man except for the cheating.
right. So my thing is, okay, that's if your significant other allows that.
Let's see each his own. It
Do
depends
all
on the
men
situation.
cheat?
I don't think so, but majority.
I don't
can't-
believe so.
I
I
can't- I
feel
can't- I
feel
can't speak
women
for that.
are the biggest cheaters. Honestly.
Oh, they're the
Oh,
best.
yeah.
and people
Women
are
are the
clapping.
best.
I'm just gonna be
Yeah, we're
Women are the
outnumbered.
best.
I'm gonna be honest about it. I mean,
You can't never tell when they cheating. Y'all
it's
cheating.
always a scapegoat where they always try to deflect and say that men cheat,
Look
but
at
women,
face-
I
look at y'all
think women are
faces.
more.
Yeah.
I've
more-
never cheated a day in my life.
Well, I mean, you're
I've
one
been
of the
single
you're
a
one
lot,
of the
though.
few. You're a unicorn, then, if that's the case.
My girl.
Yeah. Look, see?
You're a unicorn. Nah, but I'm faithful in a lot of brothers that I know firsthand that are committed to their relationship. You know, they're family men, they're fathers.
Mhm.
I really don't rock with too many dudes that don't take care of their situations.
I
And if
love
your
that.
situation is the fact that you're married, you got kids, or even if you're not married, if you're in a situation, relationship, whatever, I'm gonna respect that. So if I see you doing something crazy, I'm gonna say something to you, and I would expect them to do the same to me
I
as
love
well.
that. It's
So
it's called accountability,
Accountability.
right?
absolutely,
Yeah, yeah.
And you
absolutely, and that's the problem nowadays. People are not being held accountable on so many different capacities, so many different levels.
absolutely, like when I was growing up, I remember I was raised in a very conservative household, and our family members judged everything that we did. So you could not fall out of line,
Especially in the Caribbean
right?
household. Yeah.
Caribbean household. And now, that's a lot different. But to touch on your point, what I would say is maturity. Mature
Absolutely.
men that are like that, they know what they want and they're in a good space, they're really not going to cheat, right? It's people that are, they're still exploring. And
Right.
don't be mad at someone if they do cheat, because at the end of the day, it just lets you know either you got to step it up or you just got to have more options.
Right.
Well, I have friends that I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna name who does what. But some of them not ready to commit like that right now.
Yeah, and
So
it's
I try not
okay.
to, cause they look at me like the lame-o sometimes, like,
Why? Because you're married.
oh man, you're not outside, something like that. So my thing is, I don't try to like bash it in their head, like, yo,
Yeah.
man, you need
Nah.
to, cause
Nah.
sometimes you stick out like a sore thumb. But I tell them like, yo, bro, like, you ain't getting tired of that.
Yeah, it's
What are you talking about,
tiring.
man? Listen, I'm like, all right, well, and I'll see from the outside looking in, I'll be like, yo, your girl cheating on you, bro.
Basically.
What are you talking about? I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, bro, I'm telling you, man, like,
She sensed the energy.
you doing too much. You don't think she's doing
It's
her,
like
bro.
common sense.
She's too calm.
It's common sense.
Right.
She's too calm.
The only
She's
time
just accepting all this bullshit. Nah, she's fucking.
when
I
Absolutely.
don't
sucking.
think so.
this is very true.
I'm
You
letting
know,
you know
Very
that.
see,
true.
Wahida
I
and
agree
I,
with him.
we
That's a
get
fact.
along very well because we have such different perspectives.
Mhm.
But I also really think there's a bunch of man clowns who legit, like, because a man may be providing a certain aspect in their life for them, they will keep taking that and they will not cheat.
I agree.
So there is a bunch of that going on, and I'm
What,
sorry to
women?
call
You're talking about women?
yeah, I'm sorry to call y'all man clowns, but to be honest,
Yeah, because they got gal count too.
they got gal
Yeah,
clown too.
Yeah.
But and I'm not saying I've never been a man clown, but one thing I
You were
will
loyal.
huh
You were
one thing I
loyal.
will say is, a lot of times there are women who feel like, you know what, he is satisfying 80% of the relationship.
Right.
And I'm not that way now, but I've been that way before. I found out he was cheating. I didn't say anything because I was like, are you going to leave him?
But
And the answer was no. And I said, so why start a fight? And I had to move on. And I'm not that way now, but in that moment.
I get it. No,
So,
Yeah,
and I
I
wasn't
think-
cheating.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing in that situation is vanity and satisfaction.
When it comes to the man cheating.
When it comes to a gal
Satisfaction.
clown.
Oh, a gal clown?
No, a man clown. Now, what you said?
but
A man
see,
clown.
Okay,
that goes-
explain that.
Yeah,
Explain that.
expand
I'm
on
curious.
gal clown and
Yeah.
man clown.
Explain
Yeah,
that.
I think that you got a nice car, you got a nice job,
Mhm. Mhm.
the sex is good,
Mhm.
you look good together.
Mhm.
These things cloud what could be going on behind the scenes.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? Your friends, oh, y'all look so good. Friends has a lot to do with decisions, options. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of females in this world, they care about what their friends think. You know what I'm saying? Or what their family think.
In terms of what the man
what
offers in the relationship.
TV is
Mm.
portraying.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So that's 90%. For me, for my opinion, that's 90% of the.
But that's like goes back to what I said, the culture. Like
But not only females.
a man is
Men
used to
too.
having more than one woman in our history.
So
Right.
basically, what I'm
and the
hearing
women know that already. So they're like, okay, he's gonna do this anyway. I might as well get mine.
Right.
He's gonna pay all my bills. He gonna do this. He gonna do that. And I got me a little dude on the side, so I ain't worried about it. this is what women do, you know.
At the end, it all
So
ends in depression and sadness.
it depends on who you are. Some
But you
people,
know,
some
yeah.
women, they don't want to.
And because these mics are so good and they may not pick up what you're saying, it's isn't it a toxic trait? The
Yeah,
question is, isn't it a toxic trait
yeah,
expecting a
it's
man to
super
cheat?
toxic.
It falls back to what Wahida was saying about expecting the worst in a situation. But maybe
Right.
cheating is not the worst for some of these MCs
Exactly,
and the GCs.
because they could endure it because they're looking at the other things that come with it.
The opportunities, the
What
gains.
outweighs it?
What's
Okay.
Okay, he's
monetary.
all men gonna cheat in my head, so you know what? I can't stop him, but I'm gonna get mine.
All right.
That's
All right.
absolutely toxic.
So now we talk about PTSD, guys, because in the community, especially with Money and Violence, I watched the show, and you know, it's definitely I was raised in Flatbush. It's definitely
Nice.
right. It's
Okay.
definitely it's a lot of reality in the show.
Where you from?
It's a beautiful. Well, I live
What block you from?
block.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
not
we can't be
claiming
putting
nothing,
this shit
You said
okay?
you from
I'll
Flatbush,
give
right?
you the
on camera.
corner.
See,
All right, I'm
see,
from Junction.
Oh,
What's-
my
Alright,
God.
so-
Round up
Junction,
somewhere.
right?
Don't go looking
Glenwood?
for her, y'all.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, there's people on the block, so
Mhm.
I don't know. But
Okay.
post-traumatic stress disorder, right? So have you guys heard of this?
Absolutely.
Right? So it's whenever someone witnesses an event that is traumatic, and you know it has impact on them, right? And
Mhm.
it has impact in, sometimes they have nightmares. Sometimes the incident plays over and over in their mind. They're haunted by that event, right? So we all deal with that, especially in certain communities, especially in communities where um this, you know, the things that are talked about in the show, that's happening, right? Inner city New York, for example, right? But it happens nationwide. Let's chat a little bit about like your personal experience. Do any of you feel like you have any symptoms of PTSD, any like hints of it, traces of it,
Think
where
we
you're
all do.
constantly looking around, like
Think
looking
we
over
all
your
do.
shoulder? Go ahead.
Everybody has their own triggers. I think we all suffer from it. Whether you was in the streets or if you played the sidewalks, everybody suffers some form of PTSD. Especially
Yeah.
if you live in, I know Flatbush, but
Yeah.
just New York City as a whole.
Mhm.
Um, you've definitely encountered, witnessed something, been a part of, been close to, where you can encounter PTSD. I don't think nobody's exempt from that.
Yeah, it's too much. Like we'll be here all day. Like,
Yeah.
definitely have PTSD.
What are some things that stick out to you in terms of
It's too many.
like
Too many.
even like one or two where
I'll give you one real quick.
Yeah.
My man, like, shout out to my man, like,
Shout out, like,
he had a crew that had a brand called Not Normal.
Yeah.
Well, one of their logos was Not Normal,
yeah.
and I just felt like that was so. The words was packed with TNT.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just growing up in our neighborhood, like
Okay.
things weren't not normal. Because I remember at one point growing up, teenage years, I'm going to a funeral like every other week.
That's crazy.
yeah.
That's
Mm.
crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So as a 16-year-old in the neighborhood, 15, 16, you going to a funeral, then the next week you going to a funeral, so on and so forth. It's not normal. It's not conducive to positive mental
You're
health.
desensitized.
Absolutely. So after a certain period of time, it's like, who's next? Which one? I hope
Yeah.
I'm not next. You know, and that's not a normal lifestyle for us. So
No.
we're kind of setting a bad part of the playing field off rip. Just being a product of the environment. So I know I could say anybody from my hood, you definitely suffer from PTSD. Like I said, even if you played the streets or if you played the sidewalks, looking from the window, seeing what was popping off outside, like walking by, having a duck because somebody's spraying the block. I think we've all encountered it.
Can you give me an example? Any one of you that's willing to share something traumatic that you witnessed, that you know that somehow, some way, it definitely caused you to think about things differently? I'll give you an example. We had just moved to Brooklyn. I think I was about maybe 18, and I'm looking out the window. It's a fight night, and people are, you know, watching the game, watching the fight. I'm not into boxing, so I'm not paying attention, but I see two guys talking really loud to each other because I'm looking out the window. I see two guys talking to each other really loud. I continue to look. One pulls out a gun, shoots the other one, and
How
just
old
walks
were
away.
you, Wahida?
I was in my I was 18.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, wow, I can't believe I just witnessed someone shoot someone in front. Like,
What year was that?
but I'm in my building. I'm at this
What
time.
block was that?
Ocean Ave. I was living on Ocean Ave at that time.
She got us.
And no, none of you were there.
We gotta get rid of
Those
her,
people
my
are
nigga.
dead. The people that did that, they're dead.
Yo, you know we gotta get rid of you now, right? Oh, shit.
So
Motherfucker, she seen us, man.
Now,
Let me
I've
stop.
never
Made me
seen
choke on
nothing.
my drink.
I never seen nothing.
Ocean
I don't
Ave.
even speak English. I don't even
Oh,
know.
But
my
you know,
God.
I want to point out
Brooklyn
how
College.
desensitized we all are that we can even find a way to laugh when sharing these things.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only way you cope with
And
it.
it is
That's
a
the only way you
coping
cope.
mechanism
Mhm.
because it's laugh or go crazy
You know how we go, oh, that's
cry.
regular.
Right? It's kind
You
of
just
like
laugh. It's fucked up, though.
no, it is, right? And
it's
it lets you know even some of our toxic traits and our toxic habits. We're not born, well, actually, we are born with some of them because there's a book I was reading called It Didn't Begin With You.
It's a fact.
And what happens is a woman can experience trauma, and that trauma lives in the DNA of her eggs. And it's
of you.
and if a woman is pregnant with a girl, it actually can transfer to that baby girl's eggs, or whatever genes, depending on how late she is in the pregnancy. So you're not born trauma free.
That's
But
what they say. Not to cut you off, they say always have a happy pregnancy. Like
yeah,
try to be happy.
Absolutely,
It's
or
like a
be
hormonal
calm and
transfer.
everything,
Pass it
right?
to the baby, yeah.
And on top of that, you have to deal with all these other traumas that lead you to become even more toxic. And a lot of the toxic habits that, Wahida read out, they stem from disappointment. Even when you're expecting the worst, it's because you've seen the worst over and over. And sometimes it's hard to think about it. Like I have a sticky note on my computer, and instead of what's the worst can happen, I say what's the best that can happen. And I have to remind myself physically to look at it and have all these exercises, right? And what are some things that you guys do to remind yourself or rid yourself of some of the toxic things that you become victim to, whether it's nature or nurture?
I do the same thing. I have a vision board.
A vision board?
Vision board. My children, I make sure my children have it. They have vision boards in their room.
That's
Like,
dope.
it's all about frequency. Like you said, it's all about what you put out to the atmosphere, into the universe. What you're tuning in. You got to retune your frequency sometimes. Can't think negative or it's positive. Even if you're down and out, you got to say, well, it's going to get better. It will get better. I am good. Like, oh, I want to be good. Or maybe I'm going to be good. No, I am good. Can't be like, yo, I'm broke. No. Because now you put in the atmosphere, you're
You can't
broke.
own it. You can't claim that. You can't
gotta
claim
just
that.
be like, you know what? I'm rich, man. I'm rich. I'm going to get my riches. I'm going to be up and we're going to do this. Yeah, God, we're going to be successful, right?
That's
and the people looking at you like you crazy, like, this dude, he just asked me for $2, man. He broke, man.
What do we call that, Fuza?
But you putting it out in the atmosphere.
Affirmation?
So, yeah.
We call it affirmation. But we
Yeah.
also call it Kanye delusion.
Kanye delusion.
Well,
because
but
let me tell
everything
y'all.
Kanye said, he did.
And that's
what I'm saying. That's why we.
Yeah.
That's what we be doing.
Like my Kanye delusion is sometimes I'll say bullshit like money be stalking me. Money's on my ass. Like fuck. Like I don't want you. Like money. No, I don't want you. Just kidding. But I always say money loves me. Money needs me. Money does. When it comes to the money, but also joy. I'm like, joy is on my ass and whatever. And it's dumb and it's fun when I'm saying it, but in the grand scheme of things, it does feed my subconscious. And I end up in such a positive space. And I always say there's so much power in your tongue.
Correct.
Yeah, it is.
Correct.
And one thing I
Right.
get from it is basically I got OGs.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I got older people. I was bad growing up. You know, I went to like 5 different high schools. I was
Mm.
everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So the OGs, my father used to shed tears to me,
Mm.
saying, "Yo, get right." You know what I'm saying? You don't need this. You need this. You know what I'm saying? So he's still here, and I give thanks. My mother's still here, and I give thanks.
They didn't give up on you.
Certain things, certain people are still here, and that stick with me in my head. So when I think about being depressed or going through certain things like PSD and things, I get these voices in my head. You know what I'm saying? And that's what helped me move forward.
The positivity.
Definitely.
Yeah, the
Definitely.
reminders that you're loved.
Definitely.
The reminders that people are rooting for
passion
you.
that was there
Correct.
during that time. It always stick with me. Yeah.
That's
Correct.
beautiful, and that's like a core memory for you,
Oh yeah.
which
It keeps me,
stuck with you.
It was instilled in you, man. They instilled that in you.
And do you do that with your
Imprinted in
children
memory.
for those of
Oh,
you who have
definitely.
children?
Yeah, you have to.
Definitely. You know, I try not to get him like, cause I always go for my experiences.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, daddy, here we go. Yeah. Yeah, we know, you had it hard. You had to walk to school. We know that you only had 50 cents to go to the store with. We know you wore your sneakers till you had holes in the bottom. Cause I'm like, y'all don't understand. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you struggling. They don't understand it. Like, I'm like, yo, I'm dropping you to school every day. Like, y'all don't
It's
even.
our fault too. We enablers because we don't want them to really endure what we had to. And in the sense of it, as a parent, it's always supposed to be a step up. You know what I'm saying? Our parents wasn't able to do it for us, so we try to step up and not have them go through what we went through.
That's right.
So we're enablers in a sense too as parents, but you can't help it.
Yeah.
If you don't spoil your child, who else is?
Yeah.
We in them cycles.
But there still has to be certain precedents and certain bars that's left for the kids to achieve, man. And unfortunately, bro, you're never gonna stop being hard on yourself.
Yeah, you're right.
Because your expectation, man, you want the best for them.
Things always change.
It's not coming from a malicious place. It's your child. You want them to be better than you. That's what it's supposed to be.
Correct.
But and I think, and Wahida, you're a parent as well. So I think even for you, there are things that you instill in your son.
Yeah, I think my son, growing up, he went to Midwood, and he was a good boy. He never got into any problems in school. He knew better. He knew who to talk to. He knew who not to talk to. And my family, the men are just very silent. They don't really talk a lot. So he got that. He got that from the family, and I'm happy about that because I never had any issues with anybody trying to do anything to my son. And that's a big thing because I would have went to jail. So I'm happy that went well.
I love that. And y'all should take credit for the things that you guys are doing as parents. I really admire that. And it's good to see, like Black and brown parents really caring about that. So with that said, you guys have been not bullshit. You guys have been unofficially therapized, and this was really a great session. And we expected this to be wonderful, but it exceeded our expectations.
Thank you. You ain't seen nothing yet.